Hi everybody, it's Craftin' Just Because with Chris Cowan. I'm just getting set up here. I hope everybody's having a great Thursday. I am. It's been a busy week here at our house, but I like it. Hi Elizabeth. Okay, I think I've got us all set up. And I did it. The volume didn't turn back on, so we didn't hear that, my voice back in the background. Anyway, we are playing with the Way to Goat stamp set today. I will confess, this is one of the first stamp sets I purchased out of the annual catalog. And I don't know why it took me so long to create with it or to share it with you guys. Because I love all the animal sets that we have. But it took me a while to create with them. Maybe because I had other things on my brain. I don't know. But I love these guys. I love the character, their faces. There's lots of sentiments, and you can do a lot with this card. Or with this set. So today, we are going to make a pop-up card. And I know you guys have probably seen them come on Pinterest. And I've wanted to make one so bad. And so you can make these as simple or as complicated as you want. The only thing is they do not fit in a normal sized envelope. They're about 6 by 6 inch size. Well, they're a little smaller than a 6 inch by 6 inch size. But this is the one that I made. And I'm going to show you guys how to make this today. So it says, I got you a cake, but I ate it. Happy birthday, you old goat. And you're the goat, greatest of all time. And then I had little flowers. Oh, my little embellishment fell off. I'll have to add one when we make the other one. But I made it really simple. I'm using some Whisper White cardstock, some of the Artistry Blooms, and then Smoky Slate cardstock. Oh, and then I had scraps of Bermuda Bay. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you guys how to make this. It is actually the simplest card to make. You wouldn't believe it, I know. It is hard to stop embellishing them though, because you just have so much fun. Okay, so first what you want to do is you want to bring in your paper trimmer. And you need a piece of cardstock that is 12 by 12. We're going to cut off a 1/2 inch off one of the sides. So just like that. Okay. Then what you're going to want to do, I'm going to switch this over. Whoops. I need to see my measurements here. Sorry. I kind of covered them up. So then what we're going to do is we're going to score on this 11.5 inch side at 2 3/4, 5.5, 8 1/4, and 11. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. If you're new to my channel, when I save this video, all my directions will be posted on my blog. So you don't have to worry about really quick writing them down. Then 5.5. Then 8 1/4, and then 11. So you're going to make like a 1/2 inch tab right here. Okay, now we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. So we're back onto our 12 inch side. And we are going to cut a piece off at 2 3/4. So we're going to cut one off. There's one. And then we need another one that's 2 3/4. And then you're left with a piece that's 5.5 inches. Let's make sure that's right. Oh, wait. I apologize. You got to cut a 1/2 inch off. Okay, now you have your 5.5 inches. Okay, then what you're also going to need, just so you guys know, is you're going to need some Whisper White squares, 3 pieces that are cut at 2 1/4 by 2¼ I went ahead and stamped them and colored them just because I know that that'll take a little bit of time. So we have those. We also have some scrap Whisper White so that we can do our sentiments on there and punch them out with some circles. I also have some scrap Highland Heather that we're going to make some of the small blooms out of. I have a scrap of Coastal Cabana here as well. And then, let's see here. And then I also have a couple pieces of Designer Series paper that are cut here at 2¼ by 2¼ and then some Smoky Slate squares, 12 in fact. That's 2½ by 2½. Okay. And then I have a couple tabs here that I cut out for my flowers to pop up. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my trimmer. I'm going to bring back in my pieces that we've cut and burnished, and I'm going to go ahead and burnish those up. Okay, and then we're going to put tear and tape here on this tab, but first I'm going to cut this into a tab shape. So let's do that, and then bring in my tear and tape. Fold that over onto itself just like that. Hi, Kathy. Okay, I'm going to fold it now with my seam facing up just like that. And I'm going to set it aside for just a moment. And then we're going to do our other two little pieces. I love these goats too, Kathy. Okay, so now we're going to burnish these pieces up. Now, it might be easier for you to go ahead and put your layers on, like your Designer Series paper and that Smoky Slate. I'm not going to do that right as of yet because I don't know exactly how I'm going to decorate it yet. Or, you know, I want to show you guys how to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the layers together like this. Okay, so you want your seam here. And then you want to put glue on the piece next to your seam so that it goes like this. So let's go ahead and add the glue. And then what you're going to do is you're going to flip this over and put it on half that card and line it up. Make sure it all lines up. Just like that. And we're going to do the same thing to our other piece. So we're going to burnish all the score lines. We're going to add tear and tape to this edge here. Okay, I'm going to seal that on up. I'm going to open it up. I want my seal there, and I'm going to put glue again on this right-hand side. And then I'm going to put that face down onto my other side, lining up the edges yet again. So if you see this, we have like a 5.5 by 5.5 inch square. That's what it looks like. But watch this. When you set it up, there's going to be your card. Okay? So let's go ahead and layer our stamped images onto our smoky slate pieces. Uh-oh. This one doesn't look like it's cut. Looks like I cut this one wider. The white piece wider. Oh well. Looks like I forgot to trim off like a quarter of an inch. Okay. So now I'm going to put these pieces down first. I'm going to just lay my card flat. Center those on down. Oh, an ad just popped up in the middle of my thing. Okay, there we go. Okay. So what I did on this is I put my stamped goats on, you know, kind of every other one, staggered, just like this. And then we're going to set that aside for a moment. Now, I am going to use a couple punches that are retired, but what I really did when I made this card is I used our layered circled dies, and I just thought it might be easier for me to use punches for the video for today. So keep that in mind. Okay, we're going to bring in some of the sentiments here, and I want my happy birthday, you old goat. And I'm just going to use my Memento ink. So I'm going to stamp that down just like that. Oh, that's not a good stamp job. I pressed too hard. Okay, let's regroup here. Hold on. Let's try that one again. That's better. Okay, I'm going to punch that one out. Just like that. And then I need, let me wipe off my stamp here. And then I want, I got you cake, but I ate it. So let's see here. On this one, what I did is I put this in the corner, just like that. And then I'm going to add, but I ate it to that same one before I punch it out. Just like that. And then we're going to punch that one out. Okay. And then we need Way to Goat. I just love the sentiments in this set too. I just think they're funny. So Way to Goat. Go ahead and punch that one out. And then we want You're the Goat, the greatest of all time. And then I'm going to use, I think it's the Everyday Label Punch, but I'm not exactly sure if that's the name of this one. But go ahead and punch that one out. And then I think we're done with our sentiments. And I want to do a couple things on our envelope here. Let me make sure. I want to put a, oh, dang it. Oops. I wanted to put a goat on my envelopes. And then one on the back. I can't believe I got it in the ink. Bummer days, dude. Okay, let's do one more on the flap. Make them nice and cute. Just like that. I didn't push that one down very good. Okay, so we have our envelope done. We have all of our stamping done. So now we've got to layer up our sentiments and get those on the card. So let me move this all over. We don't need our block anymore. Okay. We do need 3 of the 1 3/4 inch circles. So let me go ahead and punch those. Okay. And then I'm going to do one more of this everyday label punch in the Bermuda Bay, and I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to show you guys a trick that you can do with your punches. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one in half. And then I'm going to bring in my liquid glue. And I'm going to put liquid glue on the edges of both of my white pieces. And I'm just going to layer this to make the tag just a little bit longer. Whoops. Just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to take one of my little tabs that we cut that was from the 1/2 inch. And this was 1/2 inch by 2. And I'm just folding it in half. Okay. And we are going to go ahead and get that in our card here. So what we want to do is we're going to glue this down into the center of this card. Let me show you here. On the inside, and I'm just putting it right on down into the center, into my seam. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add glue onto one side only. And then we're going to add our weighted goat sentiment. Whoops. Right on down onto that side that we put glue on. So then it lays flat, see? Just like this. You want everything to lay flat. Okay? So now we've got that on. Let's go ahead and layer up our sentiments here. So I'm going to put my Designer Series paper on. And then we're going to, I'm kind of making a mess here on my, layer these together. And I didn't use any dimensionals because this project is already kind of bulky, and I didn't want the bulkiness to be even more. So if you didn't have to mail it, that, you know, you could add as much bulk to it as you wanted, but you know, you don't want it too thick to mail in the post office. Okay, so now I have that down, and I'm just gonna glue that on down to my other side here. And then we're gonna work on the next one. I got glue all over my fingers, so they're kind of sticky. Let me wipe them off here with a wipey. It's a good thing I keep wipies in my craft room. Whew. Okay, so now I'm going to layer Way to Goat onto this one. And you could do this with any stamp set or do a combination of stamp sets. That's always fun too. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue that one down here on the bottom. And then we have one last sentiment that will go right there in the middle. And it's the happy birthday, you old goat. Okay. And then remember, we still have a few pieces of that smoky slate to put on. And the only reason I'm adding more, you could even add more designer series paper if you want, is just so that when you open up the card, you don't see so much white. Okay, so I'm going to add a couple squares right up in here on my card. So I'm going to add 2 there. I'm just going to center those right on down into, just like that. Oops. Okay. So you could either do away with this part or, you know, or add, like I said, this card, you can totally layer it up and just keep adding, and the sky's the limit on this. But that is completely up to you. And then I'm going to add one right down here on the bottom. That one's kind of hard to see, I know. Okay, so there's our pop-out card. But what I went ahead and did was I also cut out, I'm going to cut this in half. Let me bring in my paper trimmer really quick. I'm going to cut one of these in half. One of my tabs. And then I took a scrap of paper and just laid it down like this. And I took my Granny Apple Green and just colored, whoops, the whole piece. You could do this with Granny Apple Green paper too. I just didn't have a scrap of that at the time, and I just needed a small piece of it. And so I was like, oh, this will work. Okay, excuse my reach there. And then we're going to cut out of our scrap here 2 flowers. And then what I did is I just bent this down and glued the end, and we'll glue that down into the card with our flower on top. Just like that. Do you see the flower? And then let's do the same thing on this one. And then we'll add a couple of the jewels to it. Okay, let's get out our playful there I have there's the pack, And then let's just go ahead and add one of these into each of the centers of our flowers. Uh-oh, I didn't let that flower dry good enough. Let's get a center onto it. So there you go, there's your flowers. And then remember, I have to add an embellishment onto this one because it fell off. So let's do that while we have the card out. There we go. Okay, so let's look at our project here. Get rid of all my little scraps here. So here's our pop-up card, and then it just folds up flat just like this, and it'll fit into your bigger envelope. So just like that. Nice, right? Super simple to make. Like I said, I think the hardest part is decorating it. And I mean, the sky's the limit on the decorating. So that's our project for today, you guys. I'm so glad you joined me. I will share this video, and I'll have all the directions to my blog post here coming up. And I hope you guys are enjoying the 5 days of Halloween that I've been doing this week as well. So until next time, you guys have a great night. Bye-bye.